Alright, so what we have here are two Savages that are in an M40 style stock. Um, this one is the 17 HMR, I believe it's the 93R17 TRR SR. It's got the bull barrel, it's a 17 HMR. Nothing super special about it except the stock solid wood with a nice textured finish on it. And it's got this hand cut back here, which I'll get into more to on the Choate machinery stock that's on the Savage 10 here that I've got. So basically I've got little brother, big brother set up here. You know, mil-dot scope with adjustments on top of it. This is just a really good plinking rifle. I've hit out to 550 with it, and I do have witnesses, so you can judge me if you want. Best little rifle I think I've ever owned. It'll chew up just about any kind of ammo that you throw in it, and it's just stupid accurate inside 100 yards. And it normally has a bipod on it, but I'm being cheap and swapping it between the two right now, so it's currently on the 308, which I've been shooting a lot more. So I'm going to move this one out of the way. So what I really like about this rifle here, it's a Savage 10, as I said earlier, chambered in 308. I bought it at Academy for like 500 bucks. It's got the oversized bolt knob on it. It's pretty smooth action. I mean, it's your typical Savage action. It'll stick sometimes, and especially if you're shooting any sort of steel rounds out of it. Currently I've got a Weaver, got it zeroed for 100 yards. This Weaver has the adjusting turrets. You pull them up to unlock them, then twist them and push them down to lock them in. And then I've got the Silencer Co. muzzle brake on it, which significantly reduces the recoil, especially with this heavier stock that I've put it in, and the bigger barrel that it's got. So what this will allow me to do essentially is, if I ever get a can, it's going to allow me to swap that 30 cal can between my AR and this. So kind of thinking ahead there. So I'm going to lock this up. It's got a 3-position safety, safe all the way, trigger won't go, bolt won't release. Safety halfway, you can manipulate the action, but the trigger's still dead, and then, you know, full red is dead, and you got full weapons function here. So just kind of an intro on the rifle. Let me put it back where it's locked up since I got live ammo with it. So what I have here is the Choate machinery stock, and it is your M40 cut as well. And I really love this. Choates I've had to modify a little bit. It wasn't super hard. It was a really messy process. If you want, I can, you know, kind of talk you guys through that process at some point. But overall, I do like this stock. I put some set screws in here that I threaded myself, because it does have a mobile bipod mount that runs through this channel. So it can come loose, especially under recoil, if you're putting any pressure on that bipod. Since it's kind of slanted, doesn't really want to work very well. So what you can see here, this barrel was not originally, or the stock rather, was not originally profiled for a 3/4 inch barrel, which is what this action came with. So what I had to do is I bought some Acro glass from Brownells, and I filled it in. I bedded the stock, but I did it the full length. So the action back here is bedded, as well as all the way up through the end of the barrel, where I ran out of compound, so eventually what I did is I just kind of cut a shelf in there. But it shored that up. It seated the action really nice and firmly in this stock, and it's a really comfortable shooter. So now that we've kind of had an intro to the weapon, let me explain why I like the M40 cut, and why I'm probably going to change this out, even though it looks really cool and it's really comfortable. We'll discuss that. So the M40 style stock allows you to get very, very comfortable with your rifle. I do wish this one had a little bit longer pull. Got some long arms, but in general, no matter really what surface you're shooting from, you got your sling swivel back here. Really basic stock. It's kind of hollow back here, so a lot of your weight's forward of the grip. So what this allows you to do, and I'm going to move this hand, just assume that it's right here. for shooting's sake. What this allows you to do is grab right here and push this back into the pocket of your shoulder. For me, this is a lot more comfortable shooting position than having my hand up here, having my hand up here under the scope, or anything like that. Being able to be close and tight makes me feel like and seems like I've got a lot more control over the weapon. Recoil, sometimes the scope will come back and try to bite you, but if you've got your scope adjusted correctly and everything, you shouldn't have a problem with scope bite, because you should be far enough off the scope that it's not a problem. And that's one of the things that I use this for, is I use it as a bit of a riser pad to get my eye aligned with the scope, because that's really important when you're doing distance shooting. So that's one of the things I use it for. Another thing is if you're shooting in hot weather, which I did the first time I shot this. So the camera died on me there, but what I was saying was what I did the first time I shot this was I shot it in hot weather. This polymer gets really hot on your face, and if you're sweating, you're just not going to be able to hold a cheek well on it. So I really like this this cheek riser here that I bought, $10 at a local sporting goods store. Nothing fancy. It's got a little pocket here, and it's got a spot for 5 rounds. I keep my scope tools and everything in here. I plan on adding to it if I keep this. If not, I'm going to get a Kydex mount, or a piece of Kydex, heat it up, mold it to this, and kind of use it as a riser. What I do love about the Choate machinery version of this stock is its polymer. So, getting the bedding compound to adhere to it was not a problem at all. Getting other things to adhere to it if you need them to is not a problem at all. If you wanted to shave this down, because the grip is a little bit fat, so maybe somebody with some bigger hands than me would find it more comfortable, but everything's spaced nicely. The action screws in very well. I had to get the newer version, which is set up for this the action that the newer Model 10s have, but everything seats well. The magazine still feeds well. I don't really plan on using the magazine that much, just because I'm doing precision shooting, so I'll usually be doing one shot at a time, and then checking the dope and refiring if necessary. But that's kind of the reason I like this. It gives me better stability when I ask for it, basically. You can still shoot it other ways. If you were to move the bipod back a little bit, it'd give you a little bit more pivot, but it also allow you to kind of lock into cover if you were using it in a tactical situation. And I know some of the guys at the local Army sniper school, their personal weapons sit in these Choate machinery stocks. So it's gotten great personal and professional reviews. I know our state police uses one of these stocks on their sniper rig, and they do a great military and law enforcement discount. I believe it's 25%, but you can pick up one of these if you're military or law enforcement. I believe it's law enforcement, but I know for a fact military, $200, and they usually go for list anywhere from $270 up. So I really love this stock. I hope I get to do some shooting with it for you guys, and maybe mount the GoPro, which I'm so sorry that I'm having to film off of. Mount the GoPro down at the business end and see what we come back with as far as footage goes. But this is the Choate Machinery Tactical Sniper Stock. If you guys have any suggestions on this cut, go ahead and leave a comment. So go ahead and let me know what you think about the stock, if that's what you want to talk about.